In today's video, I'm sharing some beautiful inspirational Easter DIYs. Welcome to CreArtive by Nature DIY Decor. My name is Donna. So for this first DIY, I'm using this wooden cross that I had found at Dollar Tree. You're also going to need a wooden tag and some wood beads in the size of your choosing. I am going to be using this burnt umber craft paint, and I just removed the jute twine hanger and I'm applying a coat to the cross. Now this is going to be acting like a stain, so I allow that to dry and then I'm going to apply the paint to the tag as well. Once both pieces are dry, I am now going to be using this beautiful Sea Spray craft paint by DecoArt, and I'm applying it again to both the cross and the tag. I'm applying 2 coats of paint and I'm allowing each coat to dry well. Both pieces are nice and dry. Now I'm using a sanding block and distressing the edges as well as the surface. You can distress this as much as you'd like. I'm really enjoying this technique. I have used it on a few other projects and I just think it gives that rustic farmhouse look. So I wanted a little bit more antiquing, so I am going to be using this archival ink in potting soil color and I'm applying it to the edge of our wood pieces. That just helps accentuate the rusticness of these pieces and adds a little bit more color. Once that's all done, then I am going to be applying some matte varnish to the pieces, and that really helps to pop the distressing that we've done. The archival ink is a permanent ink, so as you can see, the color was not being pushed around. So I wanted to add a couple of Bible verses to the tag. So I'm going to be applying John 3:16 and then Philippians 2 verse 8. The Phil is short for Philippians. I am using these clear alphabet and number stickers that I had in my stash. You could, of course, use your Cricut machine or any other cutting machine, but since I had these in my stash already, I thought this would be an easy way to do it. I am using a marker to add my dots. So I'm going to flip my tag over and apply the stickers for the second verse. I had a little bit of a gap at the end, so I decided to add a heart there to fill in that space. So now I am going to be working on the beads. You'll need a little bag and again some craft paint. I'm using the burnt umber again. I'm squeezing some of the paint into the bag and then putting the beads inside the bag. This is a really easy way to get good coverage for your beads. Add as much paint as you need. Once they are coated, then you can dump them out on a protected surface and allow them to dry. Just spread them out so they don't stick together. So here my beads are all nice and dry, and this time I'm using some cream paint in a little baggie, and I'm not adding too much this time because I don't want full coverage on the beads. I want to create a really rustic look for these beads. So once you have the desired coverage, again, dump them out on a protected surface, spread them out and allow them to dry. These beads were partially dry and I noticed that some of the holes were filled with paint, so I just took a bamboo skewer to empty them out. Once your beads are dry, if you need to do more distressing, then go ahead and use your sanding block to create that look. Okay, so I am using the varnish again in a baggie and putting the beads in there as I really want that distressing to pop, and this looks amazing. I'm so impressed with how this really helps to see here. You can see how the colors just really come to life. So my pieces are all ready to go. Next, you're going to need a really long strand of jute twine or any other string of your choosing. I'm going to string the twine through the top of our cross first, and I'm going to tie a knot. I really wanted to create some inspirational pieces for Easter time right now, just with everything that's been going on in the world, and I thought that these would be so fitting for the time of the year and also to help us to remember others during this time as well. So to make stringing the beads and everything else easier, I added some tape to the end of both strands, and then I am going to start to string the beads onto both strands, just like you see here. I'm not putting the beads on too tight as I want a little bit of movement in the string. If you have them too tight, it's really hard to move those beads around. So I got all the beads on and I just trimmed off the excess twine. And I am going to be using a piece of tape again and stringing just one strand on and then tying a knot and then trimming off the excess. And it's ready to be put on display. This is a great piece, of course, to use at Easter time, but it could be left out for this year. Just a beautiful, beautiful reminder to keep others in thought and prayer. Okay, so for this next project, you're gonna need a wood slat sign. I'm not sure where I got mine. I think I got it from Dollar Tree quite a while ago, but I've seen them in lots of other craft stores as well. So I'm using a gel walnut stain and I'm applying it using a rag. And this is from Deco Art. I'm applying in between the slats using a paintbrush, and then if I'm able to, I'll get my rag in there. Now I did notice that there was a little bit of glue and the gel stain didn't stick all that well, so I left it quite heavy on those spots. And here you can see I'm adding a second layer and I'm allowing it to sit a little bit longer and then wiping it off, creating a darker look. So I've allowed the stain to dry and now I wanted to create a little banner for the bottom. I have this coffee stained index card, but you can use any paper that you would like. I'm also going to be using the clear stickers again, as well as some vintage photo distressing. I am going to be cutting my index card down to size that will fit nicely on the bottom wood slat. So I wanted to create a bit of like a fishtail banner look on the end, so I'm just cutting up a little ways and then cutting off the corners, and I do that for both ends. Now I am going to be using these stickers and I want to use the word prayers on here. So I found the middle of the banner and I'm going to start with the middle letter and work my way out to create the word prayers. I'm now going to use one of these little decorative stickers to add just a little bit of an embellishment on each side of the word prayers. I had these stickers in my stash, again they're clear, and I just found an embellishment that I liked and added it onto the little banner. So again, I'm using a makeup sponge to add my distressing. I just wanted, again, that rustic country look, so I find that these inks really help to create that look. I'm using tacky glue to adhere the banner to the wood slat, but use any glue that you like to use. I'll put the banner in place and then I like to flip the piece over and add a little bit of weight just to help make sure that we got a good adhesion between the glue and the wood. So that's all dry now, and I wanted to add this clip to the top. So I'm just finding the center and then using a pencil, I'm going to mark it through the whole of our clip at the top. And then I'm going to be using a pearl head straight pin as my little hanger for my hook. The pearl head does not pull right through the hole of our clip, so that's why I went with this. I thought it would work perfectly for this project. I just pushed it into our mark just to create a bit of a hole. And again, I'm using my tacky glue, and I'm going to put my pin through the hole of our clip and then push the pin into the wood and the glue. You may need a tool to push the pin into the wood. Allow the glue to set up, and then it's ready to be used. This is a great little reminder of what the family can pray for. You could even add a little pencil tie onto this if you'd like. It looks so beautiful, and I am definitely going to be putting this to use. So I had this old calendar that I've been saving, and it was from the year 2020, and I picked it up at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree's got great calendars. I'm just finding which one I want to use. It is from December, and as you can see, this is the first here, and I love the florals. And this green looks really nice with our cross and tag, so I thought it was the perfect selection. I just cut it off using my craft knife, and now I'm going to be creating a topper using these garden stakes that I picked up from Dollarama. You can also use painter sticks. So I just trimmed off the end, and now I'm just going to be marking how much paper I need to trim off on both sides so it fits our little banner, piece of wood banner. So now I'm just using my paper trimmer and just cutting off the excess as needed. I'm just checking to make sure that I did trim off enough of the paper. So next I am going to be using a sturdy piece of poster board. This is actually quite thick, and I am going to be using some spray adhesive on it. Now you can use any glue you'd like. If you use decoupage glue, I find that it kind of bubbles a bit, so I took this out to my garage and gave it a good coat of the adhesive, and now I am carefully applying the calendar page to the poster board, then smoothing it out. This worked really, really well. Next, you'll need to trim off any of the excess poster board. So I wanted to create a rustic look on this piece, and I can't remember where I saw this before, but somebody used a sanding block and distressed a page like this, and I really liked the look. So I decided to give it a try. You'll have to excuse the shaking, but you can see how it just really creates a rustic look that really looks amazing. I love how this turned out. So once you have the desired look, you'll need a rag and you'll need to wipe off all that dust that you created. And then I am going to be using, again, my vintage photo distress ink, and I'm applying it to the edge. Continue to add the ink until you get the look that you like. So this was just before I had distressed my image, but I needed to cut down some more of these garden stakes. And some of these were actually kind of warped a bit too, so I wanted some flat ones. So I'm just gonna clip off the pointed ends on each piece. I need a total of 4. Once you have those wood pieces cut down to size, you can then give them a coat of your burnt umber craft paint. And again, that'll look like a stain. So I've allowed that to dry, and now again I'm using cream paint, and I'm going to be giving each of these wood pieces 2 coats. Allow the paint to dry well in between each coat. Okay, so these pieces are all nice and dry, and I'm going to be distressing the edges again using our sanding block, and I'm also scuffing up the surface as well. So again, I am going to be using some of this archival ink in the potting soil and a makeup sponge, and I'm going to add it to the edges. Now again, this is a permanent ink. The Distress ink isn't permanent, so if you got that one wet, it would move around, but I didn't want that to happen on these ones. So now I am going to be giving these all a coat of our matte varnish and allow it to dry well. Again, this just really helps the distressing to pop. Okay, so our wood pieces are all nice and dry. I already cut down a piece of jute twine that I needed for my hanger. So I'm just laying out these pieces, just trying to figure out my placement and which pieces I want on the front and the back. And then I'm going to be using a combination of tacky glue and hot glue to attach them. So I am going to be running some of the tacky glue just at the top portion, or kind of in the middle actually. And then I'm gonna just run a single bead of the hot glue at the bottom of this stick and then pressing our image into that. And then I am going to be adding some hot glue to the image on the top of the wood piece and on the side, and then you'll want to press your next piece into place. You'll want to do the same for the bottom as well. So once you've got those pieces into place, you can then add your hanger. I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue onto each end at the top. And that is it. It's ready to be hung up for Easter. I think this is just so beautiful and so inspirational, perfect for Easter decor. So as always, I would absolutely love to know what you thought by leaving me a comment down below. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I appreciate each and every one of you. For more inspiration, you can click on this video to the right, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.